Kumusta mga gamers? Gameros here. Welcome to another my Wolcen build guide, and today I'm gonna talk about my new patch Bleeding Edge build. And to begin this guide, first I'm gonna talk about my skills and their skill modifiers. And I'm just gonna talk about the important modifiers of each skills. So first is this Bleeding Edge, and the most important modifiers for Bleeding Edge is this, which allows your axe to follow you as you move, and this will increase your area of effect. And for the rest, I'm using this and this for additional weapon damage. This will reduce the rage cost, and this will increase the crit chance. Next is this Sovereign Shout, which gives you buffs and allows you to generate rage. And for the modifiers, I'm using this for Life Leech. This will give me additional crit chance. This will increase the effectiveness of the buff. This will increase the duration of the buff. This will allow you to restore stamina when you use the skill. And this will give me additional resistance buff. Next is this Tracker's Reach, and I'm using this for additional movement skill. And the most important modifier is this, which allows you to pull yourself towards the enemy. And I'm using this, and this for increased range, this and this for reduced cooldown, and this will give you a 100% chance to inflict stasis ailment to the enemies. And it's kind of important because, as you can see, my Bleeding Edge has low chance to inflict stasis ailment, and this build will give you additional damage if the enemies have stasis ailment. And if you want to inflict immediate stasis ailment to the enemies, you can use this skill and this modifier. Next is this Blood for Blood, and this will give you additional rend damage if you're not at full life. And for the modifier, I'm using this for increased damage, this for increased health regeneration. This will allow the skill to follow you or the target. This will give you increased chance to inflict ailments. This for Life Leech, and this for increased duration of the skill. Next is this Warpath, which I'm also using for additional movement skill, and the most important modifier is this, which allows you to charge much further. This will increase your movement speed, and this will give you additional resistance buff, and this will give you rage when hitting enemies. Lastly is this Wings of Ishmir, which is another movement skill, and the most important modifier is this, which reduces the cooldown to 0 but will cost you 1 stamina for each time you use the skill. And I'm also using this for increased jump speed. This will allow me to generate rage. This will give me a damage buff for each enemy that I hit, and this will stun the enemy that I hit. For the attributes, 50% goes to my ferocity and 50% goes to my toughness. And for the gears, first for the weapon, just look for any two-hand melee weapon with high total damage, and just make sure that your weapon has high ether damage so you can inflict stasis ailment. And for the sockets, I'm using offensive number 1, and you can either use Ruby Gem for additional rend damage or Amber Gem for additional ether damage. And for the rings, belt, and amulet, just look for any type of damage added to attacks. And for the sockets, I'm using support number 3, and I'm using amethyst for additional transfer time reduction. For the defensive gears, I'm using Bruiser Helmet and Bruiser Chest Piece, and make sure that these two has high health points so you will have high health regeneration. And for the rest of your defensive gear, just look for high all resistance score, and also try to look for transfer time reduction, rage and willpower cost reduction, and toughness. And for the sockets, for the helmet, chest piece, and pants, I'm using number 1, and I'm using Alexandrite Gem for additional block chance, and once you have enough block chance, you can change the remaining socket to defensive number 2, and you can also use Alexandrite for additional block efficiency. For the skill tree, first get this node here so you can apply an additional ailment, and again make sure that your weapon has high ether damage so you can apply stasis ailments. And after this node, get this node here so you can passively generate rage instead of willpower, and after this, get this node so you will deal double damage if your rage is over 750. And that is why it's important that after this node, you will get these 3 nodes here and this node here for additional max rage. And then after this node, get this for additional damage, this so you will generate rage on kill, and after this, get this node for additional damage on enemies that has stasis ailment, and after this, get this node here which you will also deal additional damage on enemies that has stasis ailment, but it has a delay of 1.5 seconds. And then after this, get this node here which gives you an inexorable point for every 1 second while stationary, and it can go up to a maximum of 10 points, and each point will give you 6% damage, so that's in total of 60% damage, and it will also give you a negative 5% movement speed per inexorable point. So that is why I'm using lots of movement speed. That's so I don't have to worry about my slow movement speed. And also after this, get this node here for additional health regeneration and resistance. And then after this, get these 2 nodes here which gives you lots of health regeneration for every health points on your bruiser helmet and chest piece. And again, make sure that your bruiser helmet and chest piece have high health points. And after these 2 nodes here, get this node here which will reduce your maximum health to 85%, but you will only take 40% damage, and then the other 60% damage you will take after 1 second. And I think this node is perfect for these 2 nodes here, because with this node you will take 40% damage, and then you will regenerate life, and then you will take the 60% damage after 1 second. After this node, get this node here which unlocks the probing weakness and stalwart resolve stance, and you can change your stance by using active dodge skill. And I'm using stalwart resolve stance so I can have additional block chance and block efficiency, and I'm also using this node for additional block chance. And after this, get this node here so you will deal 100% of weapon damage to enemies that you blocked. Then after this, get these nodes here for additional block chance and block efficiency. And then after these 3 nodes, get these 2 nodes here for additional damage while there's only 1 nearby enemy, and these are really good nodes on boss fights. And after these 2 nodes, start getting those nodes for additional crit chance here as well, and this for additional crit damage. And after this, if you're planning to level your character more, you can maybe get these 2 nodes here for rage cost reduction, and also this branded burst node for damage reduction, and also some of these nodes here for more damage. And yeah, I think that's all I can say about this build. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Magkita na lang tayo sa susunod na video.